Hey everyone! Welcome to the Rare Coins Explorers. Are you ready to uncover one of the most astonishing coin stories that could change the way you look at everyday change forever? Because today we are diving into the incredible mystery and shocking reality behind the 1974 1 cent coin from the United States of America. A penny that originally had a face value of just 1 cent, yet due to its rare errors, historical anomalies, and collector fascination, has now reached a staggering value of $953 in numismatic markets, and if you're holding on to one or find it in circulation, you might just be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So before we unravel all the remarkable facts, twists, and events tied to this coin, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel where history meets hidden treasure in the form of common pocket change that turns out to be anything but common, because the story of the 1974 penny starts in a year when the US Mint was experimenting with the possibility of changing the composition of the penny from its long-established bronze alloy to something cheaper like aluminum due to rising copper prices during the economic tensions of the 1970s. And while most people are familiar with the 1974 aluminum cent that was never officially released for circulation, what many do not know is that the Denver Mint also struck some experimental aluminum coins bearing the D Mint mark before they were all supposedly destroyed and never meant to be seen by the public. But as with many things in numismatic history, not everything went according to plan, and the possibility that one or more of those rare 1974 aluminum cents survived and entered circulation has fueled endless speculation, rumors, investigations, and excitement in the coin collecting community, with some experts even suggesting that a genuine 1974 aluminum cent could be worth millions if confirmed authentic. Yet for this script we focused not only on the hypothetical aluminum rarity, but also on the real and existing copper 1974 pennies with incredible mint errors and conditions that drive their prices up to an astounding $953 or more depending on the specific features they carry, such as double die obverse errors which can make the lettering and date appear duplicated with slight shifts in alignment, off-center strikes which cause the design to be misaligned creating a dramatic visual anomaly, broad strikes which result in the coin spreading wider than normal without the raised rim, and clipped planchets where a portion of the coin appears to be sliced off due to misfeeding during minting, along with die cracks which appear as raised lines on the surface, cuts where a portion of the die broke off causing blobs of metal on the coin, and even struck-through errors where foreign materials interfered during the striking process creating unusual impressions, all of which increased the value of the coin exponentially when authenticated and preserved in high grades, especially when certified by third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC. And speaking of condition, the grade of a coin plays a pivotal role in its valuation, because a mint state example of the 1974 penny graded MS67 or higher is extremely rare and desired by serious collectors willing to pay hundreds or even nearly $1,000 to add such a beauty to their collection. And that's not even including the provenance and historical significance tied to coins from transitional years when composition changes were on the table, as with 1974, making even ordinary-looking coins with strong luster, sharp strikes, and full details in Lincoln's portrait and the Lincoln Memorial reverse extremely valuable if found in untouched, original condition. And the appeal of the 1974 penny isn't just limited to serious numismatists, because even casual collectors and everyday people have become increasingly aware of this coin's potential value thanks to online marketplaces, coin forums, social media groups, and YouTube videos like this one, where people are realizing that something as simple as a copper-colored penny could be worth hundreds or more. So if you're checking your change jar, old piggy bank, or inherited coin collection from a grandparent, you should definitely take a close look at any 1974 penny you come across under a magnifier or microscope to examine for doubling on the date, mint mark, or Liberty inscription, or signs of off-center strikes, unusual coloration, weight discrepancies, or planchet errors, because any of these features could catapult your penny's value to eye-watering heights. And if you happen to find a coin that looks aluminum in appearance and weighs significantly less than 3.11 grams, you may have stumbled upon the rarest of them all, the lost 1974 aluminum cent. And although current legal challenges prevent private ownership of certain experimental aluminum cents, the very act of discovering such a coin could lead to a historic legal case and unprecedented attention in the numismatic world, much like the ongoing disputes seen in the past where collectors tried to authenticate and retain ownership of similarly rare experimental issues. And while you may think the odds of finding such a coin are slim, remember that incredible finds have surfaced in the past from coin rolls, estate sales, flea markets, and even pocket change, proving once again that coins like the 1974 D penny hold more than just monetary value. They are miniature artifacts of American history, economic struggle, minting innovation, and collector passion all rolled into one. So don't dismiss any coin based on face value alone, because the combination of condition, mint mark, minting error, and historical background can turn what appears to be a simple 1-cent piece into a $953 treasure. And as more people become aware of these rare variants, demand continues to rise while the supply of high-grade, error-rich 1974 D pennies remains fixed or dwindling, making now the perfect time to examine your collection or start one. And by learning the markers of genuine era coins and understanding the grading scale, you can better assess which pennies are worth holding on to, which ones to get graded, and which might just change your financial future with a single listing or auction win. So as this coin story proves, history isn't always locked away in museums or vaults. It might be hiding in your own home, purse, or drawer, and all it takes is a keen eye, a bit of curiosity, and the knowledge you've gained right here today to potentially unlock hidden wealth and become part of the growing community of everyday people who are cashing in on extraordinary coins hiding in plain sight. So stay sharp, keep hunting, and always look twice at those pennies you might otherwise overlook, because your next discovery could be just one coin away from being a life-changing moment. And before you go, if you found this video valuable, educational, or even surprising, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories of US coins worth big money, because your journey to becoming a savvy collector or lucky finder starts right here with us. Next, 1968 D 1-cent coin. Get ready to uncover one of the most fascinating stories hidden within a small copper coin that most people overlook every day, because today we are diving deep into the unexpected value and historical intrigue of the 1968 D Lincoln penny, a 1-cent USA coin that shockingly carries a value of $255 due to unique mint errors, rarity, and collector demand. So before we reveal the full story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more incredible coin discoveries, and stay tuned as we take you through every twist and turn of this astonishing journey of how such a humble-looking penny has become a treasure worth big money in history. Starting with the background that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint, designated by the D mark beneath the year, and struck during a transitional time when the U.S. Mint was still dealing with the aftermath of coin shortages in the early 1960s. Experimenting with dyes and struggling to maintain quality control across mass production, which led to a number of unique minting mistakes that unknowingly slipped into circulation and are today recognized as highly collectible by experienced numismatists and lucky treasure hunters alike. As the 1968 D penny was struck in the post-silver era when coins were made from less precious metals. But that did not eliminate the value potential, because errors such as doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched mint marks, RPMs, and clipped planchets made their way into public hands, increasing desirability and pushing values far beyond face value. And what makes the 1968 D penny particularly interesting is the high number of variations and minting anomalies, which include well-documented doubled die obverse where Lincoln's profile, the date, and the word liberty show dramatic signs of doubling, catching the attention of error collectors who are willing to pay a premium for sharp, visible examples. And then there are the RPMs, which occur when the mint mark, D, was hand-punched multiple times slightly off-register, leading to layered or shadowed impressions under magnification, making these coins rare and desirable, with certain RPM varieties catalogued in the Cherry Picker's Guide to Rare Die Varieties as highly collectible and capable of selling for hundreds depending on condition and clarity. And that's just the beginning, because off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies, result in coins with a crescent-shaped blank area, or a severely shifted design that makes the coin look incomplete but highly collectible due to its clear deviation from normal production, especially if the date and mintmark remain fully visible, adding even more value. And then there are die cracks and cuds, which are raised lines or blobs of metal caused by worn or broken dies, often visible on Lincoln's forehead, neck, or along the rim. And when severe enough, these imperfections create highly unique coins with strong appeal to variety collectors. Plus, there are examples of 1968 pennies struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime or foreign coin blank, creating drastic weight and appearance differences that are easily recognized and prized for their rarity. And while these errors drive up value, another crucial factor is condition or grade of the coin, as those preserved in mint state, MS condition, especially MS 65 and above, can fetch hundreds or even thousands depending on error type and scarcity. Which means that even a coin with a subtle anomaly but in pristine uncirculated condition can skyrocket in value, particularly if certified by trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. And coin grading is critical because two visually similar coins can have vastly different values based on luster, strike sharpness, and presence of wear. And in the case of the 1968 penny, coins with full red RD surfaces, indicating original mint luster without discoloration, are the most valuable, with even normal strike specimens commanding solid prices when found in RDMS 67 and higher. And population reports show that while billions were minted, very few high-grade red specimens survive today, especially with errors, making the hunt for one extremely rewarding. And collectors are not only seeking out these errors and high grades but are also intrigued by the historical context. Since 1968 was a tumultuous year in American history marked by political assassinations, civil rights movements, and shifting economic priorities, all of which add to the narrative weight and desirability of coins from this era. And this cultural significance combined with real physical rarity is what transforms a small copper coin into a piece of historical art and a desirable investment. And online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections regularly see 1968 pennies with major errors fetching well above $200, sometimes even into the thousands depending on eye appeal and demand at the time, with collectors often fighting over rare RPMs or doubled dies when they hit the market, and social media platforms and coin forums are buzzing with stories of lucky finds, like individuals discovering 1968 era pennies in old change jars or inherited coin rolls, later realizing they held something of significant numismatic value. And that's why it's important to always check your change, especially for older pennies with visible issues or sharp luster, because there's a real possibility you're sitting on a mini gold mine. And part of what drives the popularity of coins like the 1968 penny is also the mystery and satisfaction of the treasure hunt, because every coin you inspect could be the one. And seasoned collectors know that identifying key characteristics like doubling on Liberty or a misplaced mintmark can make the difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth $255 or more. And this is why coin roll hunting has exploded in popularity, as enthusiasts search through boxes of pennies from banks to locate these rare varieties, sometimes yielding life-changing finds. And while many 1968 pennies are common, it is the combination of error, rarity, and preservation that makes individual coins stand out, especially those with unmistakable die breaks, off-center strikes with clear dates, or RPMs that can be matched to specific FS, 5S Stanton numbers, making them identifiable to researchers and market buyers. And that's why reference books like the Cherry Picker's Guide and Error Variety websites have become essential tools for collectors trying to determine which variations are legitimate and valuable. And as knowledge spreads and more people learn to identify these features, the demand increases, driving prices even higher, creating a cycle of discovery and investment that's exciting for both beginners and experts. So whether you're a casual collector, a coin enthusiast, or someone who just stumbled upon a jar of old coins, remember that within those aging cents might lie a 1968 Lincoln penny worth far more than you imagine. And this specific 1-cent coin, with its $255 value and historical weight, proves that small denominations can carry monumental worth, not just in dollars but in story, intrigue, and rarity. So if you enjoyed uncovering the mystery of the 1968 penny and want to explore more hidden gems from the world of numismatics, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for future discoveries where coins become legends and change becomes treasure. Next, 2005 1-cent coin. Today's story will absolutely blow your mind as we take a deep dive into one of the most surprising and valuable coins hiding in plain sight, the 2005 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece that may appear ordinary to the untrained eye but holds the potential to be worth as much as $69 due to a fascinating combination of mint errors, striking anomalies, and collector demand. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist, or just someone who enjoys the thrill of finding hidden value in everyday objects, this episode will open your eyes to the true potential that lies in something as simple as a penny. So make sure you're paying close attention because you might just discover that a small copper coin in your jar is actually worth big money. And the 2005 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, comes from a year in which the United States Mint was producing billions of Lincoln cents, making it all the more exciting and mysterious when certain examples emerge bearing rare and unusual characteristics that elevate them from common change to prized collectibles. And what makes this coin especially captivating is the range of documented and potential errors that can drastically increase its value in the eyes of collectors, coin dealers, and auction houses, starting with the most prominent error associated with this year and mint mark: the double die verse or reverse, which results in a noticeable doubling of the lettering, date, or Lincoln Memorial details on the reverse, and, in some cases, this doubling is strong enough to be visible to the naked eye, while in others it requires magnification to detect, but in either case it contributes significantly to the coin's desirability. And another highly sought-after type of error found on some 2005 pennies is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly aligned during the minting process, resulting in a coin that appears partially blank or with a crescent-shaped area devoid of design. And the more dramatic the off-center strike, especially if the date is still visible, the higher the value collectors are willing to pay, and there are even examples of 2005 cents with off-center strikes reaching over 50% misalignment, making them standout rarities. And let's not forget the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a misfeed during the blank cutting process, resulting in coins that look like someone took a small bite out of them. And these clipped coins are not only visually distinct but also highly collectible, especially when the clip occurs near the date or mint mark, which adds to the intrigue and display appeal. And then we have the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the collar that normally contains its expansion, causing the coin to spread outward beyond its intended diameter. And broad struck coins often exhibit a soft, rounded edge and may appear warped or stretched, further adding to their charm and uniqueness. And die cracks, cuds, and retained interior die breaks also contribute to the value of the 2005 penny when present, as these result from the deterioration or damage to the dies used to strike the coins and appear as raised lines, blobs, or extra metal on the surface of the coin, often cutting across letters, numbers, or design features in unpredictable and captivating ways. And then there are struck-through errors, where foreign materials like grease, cloth fibers, or even metal shavings interfere with the minting process, leaving strange impressions or missing design elements on the final coin. And when these errors occur on prominent areas of the coin like Lincoln's face or the memorial columns, they can be especially desirable to collectors who specialize in mint anomalies. And one of the reasons why the 2005 penny has garnered increased attention in recent years is due to the growth of online coin communities, auction platforms, and grading services that allow rare varieties to be easily shared, bought, and authenticated. And a penny that might have been ignored or spent just a few years ago is now being carefully examined and certified, often receiving high grades from professional organizations like PCGS or NGC, which further enhances their value and visibility in the collector market. And condition plays a critical role in determining the final worth of an era coin, as coins in mint state condition with original luster, no signs of wear, and strong strikes are far more valuable than circulated examples, and a 2005 penny with a dramatic error that's also graded MS65 or higher can easily reach or exceed $69 depending on its eye appeal, rarity, and demand. And speaking of demand, the Lincoln Cent series continues to be one of the most collected coin series in the United States due to its long-running design, historical relevance, and accessibility. And coins like the 2005 penny with errors represent exciting targets for both novice collectors looking for their first big find and advanced collectors seeking to complete their registry sets with rare and valuable examples. And it's also important to consider the role of transitional planchets and composition anomalies that sometimes occur when leftover metal blanks from previous years are mistakenly used during production, leading to pennies that weigh differently or show unusual coloration, such as zinc planchets with improper copper coatings or planchets intended for foreign coins or different denominations altogether. And these extremely rare instances can cause a 2005 penny to become a one-of-a-kind piece with auction results far exceeding expectations. And while many of these errors are visible without tools, serious collectors use magnifiers, digital microscopes, and even precise weight scales to identify subtle differences that can mean the difference between a common coin and one that's worth hundreds of dollars. And the lesson here is to never overlook the little details, because every scratch, bump, line, or oddity on a coin might be a clue to a major minting blunder. And as technology improves, more people are learning to recognize these errors and capitalize on their discoveries, with some even turning casual coin searching into a side hustle or full-time passion. And YouTube channels, blogs, and forums are filled with success stories of people who found rare error coins in pocket change, bank rolls, or inherited collections, reinforcing the idea that treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. And the 2005 penny is one of those coins that might seem too modern or too common to be valuable, but time and time again proves that when you add the unpredictability of the minting process, the possibility of mechanical failure, and the excitement of discovery, even the most recent coins can become highly prized and worth far more than their face value. And this is what makes collecting coins so endlessly fascinating, because it's not just about age or metal content, but about the stories, imperfections, and quirks that turn everyday objects into miniature works of art with monetary and historical significance. And as awareness spreads and more error coins are documented, the window of opportunity to find and profit from them remains open for those willing to look closely, learn the signs, and act quickly. So whether you're a coin roll hunter, a thrift store treasure seeker, or just someone who pays attention to what passes through your hands each day, the 2005 penny is a coin you should absolutely be watching for, because it combines modern vintage with old-school mystery, and could very well be the next big story in your own numismatic journey. And if you think a penny can't make a difference, just remember that one single coin with the right error and the right condition can be worth more than dinner for two at a fancy restaurant, or even your next utility bill. And that's the magic of coin collecting. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary and invites everyone to participate in a living history that's as rich as it is rewarding. So keep your eyes open, your magnifier handy, and your coin knowledge growing, because you never know when the next valuable discovery will fall into your hands. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories about coins worth big money that might just be sitting in your change right now. Next, 2010 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and hidden fortune behind a coin that most people would overlook without a second thought: the 2010 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a modern penny that has shockingly reached a value of $91 in the coin collecting market, not because of its age or precious metal content, but because of the rare and fascinating mint errors and production mistakes that have turned this everyday coin into a piece of numismatic gold for those lucky enough to spot the details. So if you've ever wondered how a 1-cent coin minted in the recent past can be worth big money, then buckle up, because this story reveals the many ways that small minting deviations and unique anomalies can unlock a world of value hidden right in plain sight. And while most 2010 pennies are considered common due to the sheer quantity produced at the Denver Mint, numbering over 2.4 billion coins, the reality is that within that ocean of ordinary copper-plated zinc coins are a few rare specimens carrying distinctive features that make collectors eager to pay upwards of $91 or more, starting with one of the most sought-after types of errors, doubled dies, which occur when the die used to strike the coin was engraved with a design that shifted or rotated slightly between hubbings, causing the final coin to exhibit doubled images on areas like the date, the letters, and Liberty. Indiana God We Trust, or United States of America, and while most of the major doubled dies occurred in earlier years such as 1955 or 1969s, the 2010 D has been reported with light to moderate doubling under magnification, which makes it a cherry-pickable coin for collectors who specialize in modern varieties, and in a market where even subtle doubled dies can bring serious premiums. It's no surprise that verified examples of doubled die 2010 D cents have commanded prices over $91 when combined with other quality factors such as luster, centering, and preservation, but doubling is only the beginning because another powerful value-adding factor lies in the repunched mintmark, RPM, a phenomenon where the D mintmark has been punched more than once into the die at slightly different angles or depths before the widespread adoption of computer engraving, and although the U.S. Mint officially ended hand-punching mintmarks in the 1990s, there have still been anomalies reported in later coins, including minor RPM-like effects in 2010 D pennies that may have resulted from die deterioration or mechanical doubling, which can appear as ghost images or shifted outlines on the mintmark under microscopic inspection, giving these coins a standout status among specialists who search through bank rolls for exactly these kinds of small deviations. And then there are the more dramatic mechanical issues such as off-center strikes, where the coin is struck misaligned with the dies, creating a crescent-shaped blank space and distorted design elements. If a 2010 D penny is off center by 10 to 20% while retaining a full readable date and mintmark, it can easily exceed the $91 mark, and even more valuable are coins with severe misalignments or those that were double-struck, where the coin received two separate impressions in different orientations or positions, making the design appear layered or jumbled, which is extremely appealing to error collectors due to the visual impact and uniqueness of each coin. And if that weren't enough, other mistakes like die cracks, die chips, and cuds also appear on 2010 D cents, and while these might seem like minor imperfections, they are key indicators of late-stage die wear and often create striking visual elements such as a raised line running across Lincoln's face or neck, known as a die crack, or blobs of extra metal on the reverse near the Lincoln shield, or letters like E pluribus unum, referred to as die chips, and in some cases, the die may completely break at the rim, creating a cud, a solid lump of metal attached to the edge of the coin, which greatly enhances both the rarity and the desirability of the piece, especially if the cut interrupts important parts of the design, and some collectors specifically build collections of cut varieties and pay strong premiums for bold and well-formed examples, and it's worth mentioning that coins like the 2010 D penny have also occasionally been discovered struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime or foreign coin blank, resulting in weight, color, and design mismatches that make these errors instantly recognizable and extremely valuable, with authenticated wrong planchet 2010 D cents easily surpassing $100 depending on condition and clarity. And on top of all the error types, the condition or grade of the coin plays an enormous role in its market value, with coins preserved in high mint state grades like MS66, MS67, or even MS68 commanding major price bumps, especially when certified by third-party graders like PCGS or NGC, who assign numerical scores and designate color levels such as red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, with RD coins being the most desirable due to their original copper shine and lack of oxidation. And in fact, some MS67 RD examples of error-free 2010 D pennies have fetched over $50 just based on grade alone. So when you combine a rare error with a high grade, it becomes easy to understand why some 2010 D cents are being bought and sold for $91 or more in today's collector market. And while the average circulated penny of this date might still only be worth face value, the hunt for these hidden gems keeps collectors engaged and excited, constantly scouring coin rolls, estate sales, and pocket change for the rare piece that has been hiding in plain sight all along. And there is also the story-driven appeal of these coins, as they represent not just monetary value but historical relevance, minting process intrigue, and personal discovery, especially for those who have found valuable examples purely by chance. And this emotional and educational value further boosts the cultural significance of the 2010 penny beyond its literal financial worth, turning it into a symbol of how knowledge and attention to detail can convert the mundane into something truly valuable. And forums and communities online continue to share new discoveries, document rare varieties, and encourage newcomers to join the hunt, ensuring that coins like the 2010 cent remain in the spotlight of numismatic enthusiasm. And it's through these grassroots movements that obscure coins rise to viral status, suddenly becoming hot commodities and sparking bidding wars on auction sites like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections, where properly attributed era coins are frequently fought over by collectors looking to add a standout piece to their set. And whether you're just starting your journey or are already deep into the world of coin collecting, the 2010 penny is proof that modern coins are not to be dismissed, because beneath the surface lies a wealth of value, curiosity, and discovery that can bring both financial rewards and a deep appreciation for America's minting heritage. So the next time you receive a penny and change, especially one from 2010 with AD mint mark, take a closer look with a magnifying glass or microscope. Check for doubling, odd shapes, raised lines, or off-center features. And you might just be holding a $91 coin or more, making it one of the best investments you never knew you had in your pocket. And if you found this exploration insightful and want to discover even more surprising treasures hidden in ordinary coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join our growing community of modern-day treasure hunters who are turning everyday change into pieces of history worth big money. Next, 2001 cent coin. Today we are diving into a fascinating story about a simple coin you might have in your pocket right now, the 2001 cent coin from the United States. A Lincoln penny that at first glance seems like just another common copper-plated zinc cent, but as many collectors, enthusiasts, and sharp-eyed individuals have discovered, this particular coin can be worth up to $109 or even more, and it's all thanks to a combination of errors, minting mistakes, and anomalies that turn what looks like an everyday coin into a rare and valuable collectible. And in this video we are going to reveal all the details about the 2000 penny that make it such a sleeper hit in the coin world, including the most notable types of mint errors, the circumstances under which they occur, how to identify them with or without a microscope, and why collectors are going out of their way to pay premium prices for these seemingly ordinary coins. So if you ever come across a 2000 penny, especially one in decent condition or one that just looks a little off, you're going to want to pay very close attention, because that 1 cent coin could be your gateway to a quick $100 or more. And let's begin with the general background of the 2000 penny, which was minted in enormous quantities, with over 14 billion coins produced across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, making it one of the most commonly encountered dates in circulation. But just because something is common doesn't mean it's without value, because the reality is that in such a high mintage environment, the odds of minting errors increase dramatically, especially with worn dies, misaligned machinery, overuse of minting equipment, or foreign debris entering the striking chamber. All of which can lead to numerous types of minting mistakes that escape quality control and end up in circulation, where they are eventually spotted by sharp-eyed collectors and valued far beyond their face value. And the 2000 Lincoln cent is no exception. And what makes this year particularly important is the widespread occurrence of both major and minor errors, ranging from common to incredibly rare, with some examples pushing the value of the coin well past the $100 mark depending on condition, rarity, and eye appeal, and starting with the doubled die errors. The year 2000 has several documented examples of doubling on the obverse and reverse, with doubling most commonly appearing on the letters in Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or on Lincoln's eye and beard area, which results in a ghost-like shadow doubling effect that's easily visible under magnification and occasionally to the naked eye. And these doubled die obverse coins are highly sought after, especially when the doubling is strong, clean, and in high grade, And then we have the wide AM reverse variety, which is one of the most famous and valuable varieties associated with the 2000 Lincoln cent. And for those who are unfamiliar, during the production of business strike pennies at the Philadelphia Mint from 1993 to 2008, the reverse was supposed to feature a close AM in the word America where the letters A and M are almost touching, but due to a mix-up in dies, some pennies were struck with the proof reverse intended for collector coins, and these proof reverses have a wide gap between the A and M in America, hence the name wide AM. And the 2000 wide AM penny is one of the more commonly found but still valuable examples of this variety, and can fetch prices well over $100 depending on grade, with MS65 and higher examples often crossing the $150 threshold. And this is just one type of variety that highlights how important it is to examine the details of your coins closely, because a simple spacing error between two letters can be the difference between 1 cent and $100. And this wide AM variety is often accompanied by other minor differences such as the spacing of the FG initials near the Lincoln Memorial, which are slightly different when comparing the normal and proof reverses. So using a magnifier to check the reverse of your 2000 penny could lead to a lucrative discovery. And moving on to striking errors, we also have off-center strikes, which are some of the most visually striking mint errors and occur when the blank planchet is not properly aligned during the minting process, causing the design to be stamped off-center. And these can range from slight misalignments to dramatic 50% off-center errors, and the more off-center the strike is, especially if the date is still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes, with some off-center 2000 pennies selling for over $100 to the right buyer. And clipped planchets are another desirable error that occurs when the metal strip used to punch out blanks overlaps during the cutting process, resulting in coins with curved clips or straight edge bites that look like a small piece has been removed from the coin. And these clipped planchet errors are both eye-catching and rare, and again, value increases significantly when the clip is located near important features such as the date or mint mark. And we also have broad-struck coins where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to expand outward and lose its defined rim. And these broad-struck 2000 pennies are unusual and visually impressive, often resembling a warped or oversized version of the original coin. And then we come to die cracks and cuts, which occur when the die used to strike the coin is cracked or broken, and these errors manifest as raised lines or blobs of metal, especially around the rim or fields of the coin, and depending on their size and location, they can be minor curiosities or major moneymakers. And larger cuts that obscure letters or parts of the design are especially prized and can push the coin's value well beyond the $109 mark if found in high grade or with dramatic flair. And let's not forget the lesser-known struck-through errors where a piece of foreign materials such as grease, cloth, or other debris is caught between the die and the planchet at the moment of striking, resulting in coins with missing details or strange impressions that defy explanation at first glance. And these errors are truly one of a kind and can demand high premiums depending on the severity and uniqueness of the strike-through mark. And collectors love these because no two are exactly alike and they represent a frozen moment in time when something went very wrong at the mint. And one of the more intriguing possibilities with the 2000 penny involves transitional planchet errors, where a blank intended for a different coin or a different composition is used accidentally. And while extremely rare, these errors can result in coins with unusual weights, colors, or compositions. And examples from other years have surfaced where a cent was struck on a dime planchet or even on experimental metals. And although not confirmed widely for 2000, the possibility of a few slipping through is always tantalizing for error hunters. And what ties all of this together is that coins with these errors, whether doubling, spacing anomalies, off-center strikes, clips, broad strikes, die breaks, or struck-through issues, are only valuable if they're in good enough condition to be recognized and appreciated by collectors. Which means if you find a 2000 penny with any of these features and it still has strong detail, good luster, or minimal wear, you should consider getting it professionally graded and encapsulated by services like PCGS or NGC, because a certified error coin can sell for a much higher price than an uncertified one, especially at auction or through high-end collectors. And thanks to the internet, it has never been easier to compare your coins to known varieties, submit them for grading, or sell them to an interested buyer, and as time goes on, more and more people are beginning to realize that coins from the early 2000s can be just as valuable as much older coins, especially when mint errors are involved, and this is part of a broader trend in numismatics where modern errors are gaining recognition and value at a rapid pace. So the message is clear: do not overlook your 2,000 pennies, because even one coin with the right error in the right condition can turn into a payday worth $109 or more. And it only takes a few moments to examine your change and look for the telltale signs that separate a common penny from a rare gem, so keep your eyes peeled for doubling on the obverse, wide AM spacing on the reverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, cuds, or anything else unusual or imperfect, because these imperfections are exactly what make a coin perfect to collectors, and as more people become aware of the value hiding in plain sight, competition will increase, supplies will shrink, and prices will rise. Meaning the best time to search for these error coins is right now, so whether you're checking your pocket change, going through bank rolls, or digging through old coin jars in your attic, take the time to look for the 2001-cent coin and study it closely, because a $1 microscope could be all that stands between you and a $109 payday. And if you've enjoyed this in-depth journey through one of America's most overlooked yet valuable coins, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories, facts, and discoveries that prove you never know what hidden fortune might be hiding right in the palm of your hand. Next, 1997 1-cent coin. Today's video we will uncover everything you need to know about the often overlooked 1997 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States, a coin that at face value is worth merely a penny, yet certain examples of this very coin are commanding up to $137 or more in today's collector market. Not because of age or metallic content, but purely because of the rare, shocking, and intriguing errors and minting anomalies that have caught the eyes of dedicated numismatists and curious collectors alike. So if you've ever thought modern coins are too common to carry any real value, then you're in for a jaw-dropping surprise as we walk through all the ways the 1997 penny can morph from spare change into a valuable collectible worth big money. And to begin understanding the story behind its unexpected value, it's important to grasp how even small errors in the minting process can result in drastically increased demand and prices among coin enthusiasts. And in the case of the 1997 penny, minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints but often without a visible mint mark for Philadelphia-struck coins, the sheer volume produced, billions in total, might suggest that rarity would be impossible. But the truth is that quality control across so many coins leaves room for numerous variations, flaws, and mistakes that slip through the cracks unnoticed until they land in the hands of observant collectors. And among the most notable error types found on 1997 pennies are doubled die obverse and reverses, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die clashes, die breaks, BIE errors, die chips, struck-through errors, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet, each of which presents its own unique visual cues and levels of rarity. And we'll begin with doubled dies, one of the most widely recognized and respected error types in all of numismatics. Caused when the die used to strike the coin design is itself improperly impressed by the hub more than once in slightly misaligned positions, resulting in doubling on the final coin in areas such as the date, Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, or "In God We Trust." And although the most famous double die cents are from earlier years like 1955, 1972, and 1983, the 1997 Lincoln cent has also exhibited more subtle but still collectible examples of doubling, with certain examples clearly showing shadowing or overlapping letters or numbers visible under magnification, which when verified and graded by third-party services such as PCGS or NGC, can demand substantial premiums that push the value of the coin to and even beyond the $137 mark, especially when preserved in high mint state grades. And another major category is off-center strikes where the coin blank, also called the planchet, is not properly aligned with the dies during striking, resulting in a coin where the design appears shifted and part of the image is missing, and collectors especially value off-center strikes where the date and Lincoln's bust remain partially visible because these coins retain identifying information while clearly exhibiting the minting error, and off-center strikes of 10 to 20% are the sweet spot for many collectors, offering visual interest and identifiable features which allow even common date coins like the 1997 penny to fetch significant prices. And more extreme off-center examples are those that are combined with other errors such as double strikes or clipped planchets, where part of the blank is missing due to a miscut, can further increase value and rarity. And then there are broad strikes which occur when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally gives it a defined rim, resulting in a flatter and wider coin than normal, with the design spreading toward the edge without the usual border. And when this happens on a 1997 penny and is combined with good centering and little to no post-mint damage, these coins become highly desirable and often bring in premium prices from error collectors. And similarly valuable are die clashes where the dies strike each other without a planchet in between, transferring parts of one die's design onto the other, which then creates ghost-like images or reversed impressions on future coins. And some 1997 pennies have been found with die clash marks that show parts of Lincoln's bust or other design elements faintly mirrored on the reverse, or vice versa, which makes them fascinating and unique pieces for error variety collectors. And die breaks or cuds, where part of the die actually cracks or breaks off resulting in raised blobs of metal on the coin, can take many forms from subtle lines called die cracks to full cuds where entire areas near the rim are filled with extra metal, and these are highly sought after, particularly when they form unusual shapes or occur near lettering. As in the famous BIE error where a die chip forms between the B and E in Liberty making it look like a third letter I, and BIE errors on 1997 cents are especially collectible for variety enthusiasts who specialize in the Lincoln cent series and value each year's unique occurrences. And another fascinating class of error involves coins that were struck through debris, grease, or foreign material, known as struck-through errors, which can result in portions of the design being missing, smudged, or altered, and on a 1997 cent such an error can be mistaken for wear or damage, but under proper inspection often reveals clearly abnormal and mint-caused conditions, making these coins more than just curiosities. They are valuable errors and have sold for significant amounts depending on severity, uniqueness, and eye appeal, and among the most exciting and rarest of errors are wrong planchet errors where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or even another country, creating massive discrepancies in weight, diameter, thickness, and even color, such as a 1997 penny struck on a dime planchet, or a foreign coin planchet that slipped into the coining presses. And such coins are highly prized and almost always command prices in the hundreds or thousands due to their rarity and the difficulty of counterfeiting such an error convincingly. And all these errors become even more valuable when found in high-grade condition, and grading plays a central role in determining value, with mint state, MS. Coins especially in grades MS 65 and above drawing high premiums even for coins with minor errors because collectors place a high value on both the error and the state of preservation, and coins that retain full mint luster with no wear, strong strike, and vibrant red coloration designated RD by grading services are considered the most desirable examples. And even a minor die chip or crack on a 1997 cent in MS 67 RD condition can sell for significantly more than the same error in circulated condition, and considering the billions of 1997 cents that were made, it's incredibly rare to find one with an error in pristine uncirculated condition because these coins tend to circulate quickly and are exposed to environmental damage, so the survival of such a coin, especially if error-laden, makes it even more valuable. And collectors are constantly on the lookout, searching through coin rolls, old collections, estate sales, and pocket change, hoping to find one of these rare 1997 cents with the right combination of error, condition, and eye appeal, and this growing popularity is fueled not just by numismatic interest but by online communities and marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, great collections, and Reddit where buyers and sellers come together to discuss, identify, and bid on these pieces of small but significant American minting history, and stories abound of everyday people finding such coins in ordinary places and turning a penny into $100 bill or more, and it's this possibility, the thrill of finding value in what most would discard, that makes the 1997 penny a quiet legend among Lincoln cent collectors, and whether it's a dramatic off-center strike, a bold die clash, a cut that gives the coin an alien-like feature, or even a subtle RPM or doubling visible only under magnification, each variation tells a story of the minting process, of mechanical missteps, of human oversight, and of the ever-watchful eye of collectors who know how to spot potential. And that's what makes these coins so magical and so profitable, as they represent the confluence of history, technology, rarity, and the thrill of discovery. And so if you've ever thought that pocket change can't offer big money, let the 1997 Lincoln 1-cent coin be the coin that changes your mind, because with values reaching $137 or even higher based on era type, condition, and market demand, it stands as a symbol that no coin is too new or too ordinary to be worth a second look. And now that you know what to look for in a 1997 penny, you're one step closer to finding your own miniature fortune hidden in plain sight. So grab your magnifiers, sort through your jars and rolls, and join the ranks of those who find treasure in the smallest of places. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to uncover even more incredible stories and values hidden in US coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more astonishing discoveries from the world of numismatics, where even a penny can be worth 100 times its face value and then some. Next, 2014 D1-cent coin. Today we're going to take you on an extraordinary journey through the overlooked and often misunderstood world of the 2014 D Lincoln 1-cent coin, a modern-day penny that may seem ordinary at first glance but has shocked collectors and casual searchers alike by commanding values up to $42 in today's coin market due to a variety of rare and unexpected minting errors, unique imperfections, and production anomalies that have made this seemingly common coin a must-have item for error hunters and Lincoln cent enthusiasts alike. And as we begin unraveling the hidden potential behind the 2014 D penny, be prepared to see why what many people would simply dismiss as spare change could actually be a miniature treasure that holds more historical, artistic, and financial value than meets the eye. And if you happen to have any 2014 D pennies in your home, your car, or in your old coin jar, you'll want to grab a magnifier, weigh scale, and all the curiosity you can muster. Because the possibility that one of those coins contains the kind of error or anomaly that can turn a humble cent into a collectible valued at $42 or more is far more likely than most people think. And while the Denver Mint is known for producing vast numbers of coins with tight production quality, the sheer volume of coins struck each year opens the door to a range of potential minting mistakes. Especially with modern minting technology that sometimes creates its own brand of unexpected and fascinating flaws, and the 2014 D penny has become particularly interesting to numismatists because of several types of documented and potential errors that elevate its value significantly, starting with double die-averse varieties where parts of the coin's design, such as the inscriptions "I in God We Trust," "Liberty," or the date 2014 itself, appear to be doubled, creating a ghost-like echo or shadow effect that collectors go crazy for, especially when the doubling is strong and clear. And these types of double die errors are the result of misalignment during the hubbing process when the coin die is created. And although not every 2014 D penny has this error, examples have surfaced with unmistakable doubling that places them in the premium category of sought-after modern mint errors. And then there are the famous off-center strikes where the coin is not properly aligned in the coining chamber during minting, which results in a dramatic visual anomaly where part of the design is missing, and the other parts are shifted awkwardly across the planchet. And depending on how far off-center the strike is, and whether the date remains visible, these coins can sell for well over face value, with some sharply off-center 2014 D pennies reaching or even exceeding the $42 mark depending on condition, eye appeal, and completeness of detail. And clipped planchets are another significant mint error collectors look for in this date, where a section of the coin appears to have been bitten off, due to the blank being punched out of the sheet metal in an overlapping position, creating curved or straight-edge clips that instantly raise the value and collectability of the coin. And dramatic clips that touch key areas like the mint mark or the date can further enhance desirability, especially when found in uncirculated condition. And another critical error type to look for in 2014 D pennies are broad strikes, which occur when a coin is struck without the collar die that usually forms the rim, causing the metal to expand outward and produce a wider, often distorted-looking coin that is visually striking and unmistakable. And since broad-struck coins are often preserved by collectors due to their unusual appearance, finding a genuine broad strike from 2014D can be a profitable discovery. And then there's the matter of die cracks, cuds, and die breaks which occur when the metal dies used to strike coins begin to wear, break, or fracture during use, leading to raised lines or blobs of metal that look like veins, bumps, or even small mountains across the coin's surface, especially along the rim, or in the fields of the coin. And in cases where the die break is particularly large or in an interesting location such as across Lincoln's portrait, or along the memorial shield on the reverse, values can rise significantly and attract collectors who specialize in dramatic die deterioration. And these errors are often referred to by size such as minor die breaks or major cuds, and there are even collectors who try to build full cud collections for each mint year, meaning your 2014 D-cud penny might fill an important gap in someone's set. And as we continue exploring the fascinating world of mint errors, we also encounter struck-through errors where foreign materials such as grease, wire, cloth, or even fragments of other coins are caught between the die and the planchet at the moment of striking, causing unusual impressions, depressions, or missing details in the design. And since struck-through errors are each unique, the market tends to place a premium on examples that are visually dramatic, clearly visible, and ideally occur in important locations on the coin. And the 2014 D penny has produced a number of such examples, especially with grease-filled dies where entire portions of the design such as the date, parts of Lincoln's head, or the mint mark appear faint or missing entirely, making them prized finds among error coin hunters. And there's also the possibility of transitional planchet errors which are exceedingly rare but occur when the wrong type of metal blank is used during minting, such as a planchet intended for another denomination or even another country's coin. And while no confirmed 2014 D transitional planchets have emerged on a large scale, history has shown that modern mints are not immune to such mistakes and that even modern pennies can sometimes be found struck on dime planchets, foreign blanks, or with other unusual compositions that dramatically raise their value and collector intrigue. And then we have phantom or floating mint marks and date digits which result from filled or improperly engraved dies, and collectors have noted a small but intriguing number of 2014 D pennies where the D mint mark appears detached, faint, or floating above the surface as if it was never completely struck. And while some might dismiss these as post-mint damage, experts in the field recognize certain examples as legitimate mint errors that add variety and value to a coin, especially in uncirculated condition. And when it comes to value, condition plays a huge role in determining how much a 2014 D penny error will sell for, with uncirculated examples in mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 or above by third-party services like PCGS or NGC, often commanding premiums of $40, $50, or more depending on the nature of the error. And buyers are increasingly interested in modern mint errors because they're both accessible and challenging, offering a chance for anyone from novice to expert to find value in pocket change. And auction sites and collector forums are filled with examples of people who sold or bought 2014 D pennies for impressive sums after identifying an error or variety that many others had overlooked. And the excitement of these finds continues to draw in more collectors and elevate the status of modern Lincoln cents as not just circulating currency but modern artifacts of the minting process with flaws that make them more interesting, more human, and more valuable. And the real beauty of collecting 2014 D-era pennies lies in the thrill of the hunt, knowing that among the billions of coins struck, a small handful contains something different, something rare, something flawed in a way that adds story, mystery, and monetary value. And all it takes is a little patience, a trained eye, and the willingness to learn what to look for to potentially turn an everyday coin into a highly sought-after collectible worth $42 or more. So whether you're combing through change at the grocery store, examining bank rolls, sorting old coin jars, or just looking through your pocket lint for something interesting, never underestimate the humble 2014 D penny, because while it may be just 1 cent on paper, its true worth could be many times more when one of these amazing minting errors is involved. And every year new discoveries are made, new varieties are documented, and collectors all over the world are paying attention to coins from dates as recent as this one, showing that it's not just ancient or silver coins that hold value but also these copper-plated zinc cents that form the backbone of everyday commerce. So stay curious, stay observant, and most importantly, keep checking your change because your next 2014 D penny might just be the one with a mint error so rare and interesting that it sells for $42 or even more and adds another thrilling chapter to your collecting journey. And if you enjoyed this exploration into the secrets of the 2014 D Lincoln penny and want to continue discovering how everyday coins are hiding extraordinary value, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel where we uncover the untold stories and valuable mysteries behind the change you carry every day. Next, 1998 1-cent coin. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of a coin that most people don't even glance at twice. The 1998 Lincoln 1-cent coin from the United States. A humble penny that has surprisingly turned into a collector's dream for those who understand the power of minting errors and production anomalies, because although its face value is only 1 cent, certain 1998 Lincoln cents have sold for up to $124 or more, thanks to rare errors, die varieties, and subtle imperfections that make them stand out among the billions minted that year. And in this extended exploration, we'll peel back the layers of history, minting technique, and numismatic curiosity that transform ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. And whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just stumbled upon a handful of old coins in a drawer, you're about to learn how the 1998 penny, when carrying certain errors or being in pristine condition, can be worth far more than its face value. And to truly understand why a 1998 penny could be worth $124, we first need to appreciate the scale of production and how that scale creates opportunities for mistakes, as the U.S. Mint produced well over 5 billion 1998 cents across its facilities, including both the Philadelphia Mint, which usually bears no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which uses a small D mint mark beneath the year. And with this massive output came inevitable errors in the coin production process that were never intended to leave the mint but somehow slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. And it's precisely these minting mistakes that collectors chase after, hoping to find varieties that are rare enough and visually striking enough to command premiums. And the most famous and valuable error associated with the 1998 Lincoln cent is the wide AM reverse variety, where the spacing between the A and M in America on the reverse of the coin is noticeably wider than on standard 1998 cents, and although the wide spacing was intended only for proof coins minted in San Francisco, some of these reverse dies were mistakenly used on circulation coins struck in Philadelphia, leading to a genuine variety that has become a favorite among Lincoln cent specialists. And identifying a wide AM 1998 cent requires close inspection under magnification, as the difference in spacing can be subtle to the untrained eye but is immediately noticeable once you know what to look for. And coins with this variety in high-grade condition have been known to sell for well over $100, and even in circulated condition they regularly fetch values far beyond face value, with $124 or more not being out of the question for well-preserved examples. And while the wide AM is the most documented high-value variety for this year, it's far from the only reason why the 1998 penny can be worth serious money, as there are also known double die varieties, particularly affecting the obverse where Lincoln's profile, the date, or inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," may show signs of doubling, and these double dies occur when the die itself was improperly manufactured, receiving more than one impression from the hub in slightly different positions, and collectors cherish these double die coins because the doubling is part of the original die and not the result of machine wear or post-mint damage. And while not every doubling is dramatic, even light doubling can significantly increase a coin's value if authenticated by grading companies like PCGS or NGC, especially if the coin is also in mint state condition. And another variety that adds value to 1998 pennies are coins with repunched mint marks, or RPMs, which were more common in earlier years but can still appear due to mechanical quirks in the minting process. And RPMs result when the mint mark is punched into the die more than once in slightly different locations, creating a ghost-like doubling effect visible under magnification, and 1998 pennies have been found with RPM characteristics that increase their value considerably depending on clarity and placement. And aside from specific varieties, more general mint errors such as off-center strikes, die breaks, die chips, broad strikes, and double strikes can elevate the value of a 1998 cent into the triple-digit range, particularly when these errors are visually dramatic and easy to identify without specialized tools, and for example, an off-center strike where the design is shifted more than 10% from center, while still displaying the full date and mint mark, is extremely collectible and valued higher than more subtle errors, and the further off-center the strike, up to a point, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially when the error is symmetrical and aesthetically interesting, and double strikes where the coin is struck twice in succession, sometimes with rotation between strikes, are another form of eye-catching error that instantly captures the attention of collectors, and die breaks, including die cracks and cuds, are particularly popular among Lincoln cent collectors, with BIE errors being among the most well-known subtypes, occurring when a vertical die crack appears between the B and E in Liberty, creating the illusion of a third letter, I. And many collectors build entire sets of BIE varieties for different years, and a well-formed BIE on a 1998 penny in uncirculated condition can easily justify a value of $124 or more, especially when paired with other error features or strong eye appeal. And another error worth mentioning is the struck through error, where a foreign object such as grease, thread, or debris interferes with the striking process, leaving part of the design missing or smeared. And when these struck-through errors result in unusual textures or blank areas, they become highly desirable for collectors who appreciate the uniqueness and storytelling behind each coin, and in extremely rare cases, 1998 cents have been discovered struck on the wrong planchet, such as a dime or foreign coin blank, resulting in coins with incorrect weight, color, or diameter, and these types of errors are among the most valuable, often commanding hundreds or thousands of dollars when authenticated due to their extreme rarity and dramatic nature, and in all cases, condition is a critical factor that can significantly increase or decrease the value of an error or variety coin, with uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS65 and above, drawing the highest premiums, and coins with original red luster, labeled RD, by grading agencies, are especially coveted, as they show no signs of oxidation or wear and represent the coin as it looked when it first left the mint, and while a circulated 1998 wide AM penny might be worth $50 to $100, a gem uncirculated MS66 RD example with the same variety can fetch $200 or more depending on market demand, and that brings us to another important aspect, the role of demand and population in determining price. Because while errors and varieties add inherent interest, it is the combination of rarity, collector demand, and availability that ultimately drives value, and the 1998 wide AM cent is an excellent example of this, as its story has become widely known in the numismatic community, pushing more collectors to hunt for and acquire the variety, thus increasing its price due to rising demand, and even now, more than 2 decades after it entered circulation, the 1998 cent continues to make headlines and attract attention on coin forums, auction sites, and social media platforms where collectors share images and stories of their finds, creating a growing base of knowledge that helps both new and seasoned collectors to identify potentially valuable coins hiding in plain sight. And this growing community of roll hunters and hobbyists continues to fuel a thriving market where even modern coins can yield surprising financial rewards. And that's why it's always a good idea to inspect your change, especially older Lincoln cents, for signs of errors, doubling, unusual spacing and lettering, or dramatic strike anomalies, because any of these features could elevate your coin's value far beyond 1 cent, and for the 1998 penny, that means looking closely at the AM spacing on the reverse, checking for double dies on the obverse, inspecting the mint mark for signs of repunching, scanning the rim and fields for cuds and die breaks, and weighing the coin to ensure it falls within the expected range. Any variation could point to a planchet error or wrong metal blank that might be far more valuable than it seems, and when in doubt, It's always worth submitting potentially valuable coins to a reputable grading service for authentication and encapsulation, which adds credibility and protects the coin's condition, making it easier to sell or auction at a premium price. And with the market for error coins only growing stronger thanks to increased awareness, social media visibility, and online platforms that connect buyers and sellers directly, the value of standout examples like the 1998 Lincoln Cent with rare errors is only expected to rise over time, especially as fewer high-quality specimens remain in circulation and more are absorbed into permanent collections, and in that sense, every 1998 penny you find could be your ticket to an unexpected windfall. Next, 2015 D 1 cent coin. Today we're revealing the surprising truth about the 2015 D Lincoln 1 cent coin, a penny that many people overlook because of its modern appearance and recent mintage date, yet holds remarkable potential for value due to its array of minting errors, anomalies, and imperfections that can push its worth up to $31 or even more depending on rarity, condition, and demand among collectors. And in this episode we're going to break down the complete story behind the 2015 D penny, exploring why this particular 1 cent piece, struck at the Denver Mint in enormous quantities, has developed a reputation for being one of the most error-prone modern Lincoln cents in circulation, and whether you're a dedicated coin collector, a curious beginner, or someone who just happened to find a shiny or strange-looking penny in your change, you'll want to stick around because understanding the differences between ordinary 2015 D cents and those with rare mint errors can be the key to unlocking big money from small coins. And the reality is that with over 4 billion 2015 D Lincoln cents produced, the likelihood of minting mistakes increases dramatically, especially during high-speed mass production where overused dies, improper machine calibration, and unexpected mechanical failures can lead to a wide variety of striking errors, all of which are highly sought after by error coin collectors and enthusiasts across the country and beyond. And first among the most exciting discoveries associated with the 2015 D penny are double die errors, particularly those affecting the obverse or front side of the coin where inscriptions such as "I in God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2015 may show signs of doubling that can appear as shadow-like or ghostly outlines behind the original letters, often visible under 10x magnification but occasionally seen with the naked eye. And when a double die error is strong and occurs in a highly visible area of the coin, it significantly raises the coin's appeal and value, with examples in uncirculated or near-mint condition reaching prices in excess of $30. And these double die varieties are the result of a misalignment during the hubbing process when the die that strikes the coin is created, meaning the flaw is replicated across potentially thousands of coins before the die is replaced or corrected, making some of these double die errors semi-scarce and especially collectible. And moving on to another striking and lucrative type of minting flaw, we have off-center strikes which occur when the blank planchet, the round piece of metal that becomes the coin, is not properly seated in the striking chamber during minting, causing the design to appear partially or even significantly shifted to one side. And these off-center strikes range from barely noticeable to wildly dramatic depending on how far off the alignment was. And the most valuable examples are typically those where the strike is between 30% and 60% off-center, while still showing a complete and visible date, allowing collectors to both appreciate the error and positively identify the coin. And 2015 D off-center pennies with clear dates and uncirculated surfaces regularly fetch premium prices and continue to gain popularity due to their visual uniqueness. And then we have broad-struck errors where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking is missing or malfunctions, causing the metal to expand outward beyond its intended borders, producing coins that appear slightly swollen, warped, or stretched. And broad-struck 2015 D pennies stand out immediately to anyone familiar with the usual look and feel of a Lincoln cent and are another error type that adds both aesthetic intrigue and market value to the coin, especially when preserved in high condition. And yet another fascinating class of errors found on 2015 D Lincoln cents includes clipped planchets, where due to an error during the blanking process, part of the coin is missing, often creating a curved or crescent-shaped void in the metal. And these clips can range from small nicks to large bites, and their location can further increase value, especially if they intersect important design elements like the mint mark, date, or inscriptions. And then there's the category of die cracks, cuds, and die breaks, which are caused by physical damage or deterioration to the dies used in striking the coins, resulting in raised lines, blobs, or irregular formations on the coin's surface. And on 2015 D pennies, this may appear as a raised vein-like line stretching across Lincoln's face or head, a small mound of metal intruding on the rim or fields, or in more extreme cases as large rim-to-rim breaks known as retained cuds. And coins with these errors are increasingly being documented by both professional graders and amateur collectors, making 2015 D examples with large, well-positioned die breaks increasingly sought after, and die chip errors are closely related, and occur when a small piece of the die breaks away, leaving behind a small raised blob of metal on the coin, often appearing in places like Lincoln's eye-ear, or on the reverse around the shield's lines. And these chips, especially when they create facial distortions or notable shapes, have become a niche collector favorite, especially in modern coins like the 2015 D cent. And then we come to struck-through errors, where foreign materials such as grease, fibers, or even pieces of metal become trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, leading to strange impressions, missing details, or depressions in the coin's surface. And some of the most fascinating struck-through 2015 D pennies show partially obscured dates, faint inscriptions, or completely flattened sections of design, and since struck-through errors are usually unique in appearance, collectors prize them as one-of-a-kind curiosities and are often willing to pay a premium, especially if the struck-through area impacts a major element like the date, mint mark, or Lincoln's portrait. And another unusual possibility includes the phenomenon of floating mint marks and detached date digits caused by overfilled dies or die polishing that weakens certain elements. And some 2015 D pennies show a barely visible or oddly spaced D mint mark, or digits in the date that appear raised or sunken inconsistently. And while not all of these are dramatic enough to command top dollar, particularly strange or well-placed examples often trade hands for more than 20 times face value, and on rare occasions transitional planchet errors also enter the picture, where a penny may be mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or foreign coin, often resulting in weight discrepancies, color changes, or unusual edge characteristics. And although these are extremely rare for 2015 D cents, history has proven that such mix-ups can and do occur, and collectors are always alert for unusual-looking cents that fail to match the standard characteristics of copper-plated zinc coins. And one of the most famous and valuable error types for this year involves the reverse shield design introduced in 2010, and although no official redesign occurred in 2015, some coins have emerged with distorted or partially missing shield lines due to overpolishing, die wear, or striking anomalies. And these misstruck reverses often show blending or ghosting effects in the central area of the shield, which further elevates their appeal to shield scent specialists. And as more collectors become interested in modern errors, even minor imperfections like machine doubling, where the design appears to have shifted or vibrated during the strike, are being recognized and appreciated. And while machine doubling is generally less valuable than true hub doubling, well-formed examples can still earn attention and a small premium when accompanied by clean surfaces and overall eye appeal, and the same can be said for coins with roller marks, annealing flaws, and plating blisters, which are increasingly common on modern copper-plated zinc pennies, and 2015 D is no exception, as examples have surfaced with bubbling on Lincoln's coat, streaks across the fields, or dark patches where the copper plating failed to adhere properly. And although these are technically planchet preparation flaws rather than strike errors, they have found a market among collectors who appreciate unusual surfaces and textures. And coin roll hunters have been especially successful in finding such pieces in bank rolls, often uncovering near-mint condition 2015 D pennies with dramatic or subtle errors that can be resold for $20, $30, or more depending on the error's severity, location, and uniqueness. And as third-party grading companies continue to expand their catalogs and recognition of modern errors, the value of certified 2015 D error cents has been steadily rising, with slab examples achieving high premiums due to the increased trust and liquidity that comes with certification. and collectors now understand that modern coins are no longer too young to be valuable, and in fact represent a new frontier of numismatic discovery where fresh errors, varieties, and unknown oddities are being identified and catalogued every year, and the 2015 D penny is at the heart of this new era, offering both low entry cost and exciting profit potential to collectors willing to learn what to look for, and while many error coins last. Today's focus is on a United States coin that might be sitting unnoticed in your change jar or pocket right now, the 2012 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a penny that at first glance seems modern, ordinary, and insignificant, but which under the right conditions and with the right minting errors or anomalies has sold for up to $84 or more. Surprising both casual finders and experienced numismatists alike with how even the most recent issues from the US Mint can be worth big money when rare mistakes are involved. So if you've ever dismissed new coins as uninteresting or assumed only old silver coins carry value, this deep dive into the world of the 2012 Lincoln Shield cent will completely change your perspective and open your eyes to a modern penny's potential to become a small but powerful fortune when the right factors align. Because while more than 5 billion 2012 cents were struck between the Philadelphia and Denver mints, meaning the coin is extremely common in general circulation, it's also true that mass production and high-speed minting increase the chances of mint errors occurring, and when those errors are significant, dramatic, and rare, their value can multiply well beyond 1 cent into dozens of dollars. And the specific appeal of the 2012 Lincoln cent lies in both its distinctive design and the growing popularity of error variety collecting, especially as collectors shift focus to more modern coins where minting technology still leaves room for unexpected results. And the 2012 Lincoln cent features the Shield reverse design, which was introduced in 2010 to replace the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse. And although the design change was meant to modernize the penny and reflect the preservation of the Union, it also introduced new opportunities for die wear, die clashes, and design inconsistencies. And among the most sought-after error types on 2012 cents is the double die, where the die used to strike the coin was itself impressed more than once in slightly misaligned positions, resulting in areas of the coin showing clear doubling, most often in the inscriptions like "I in God We Trust," "Liberty," the date, or even the reverse inscriptions such as "United States of America" or 1 cent, and while not every doubled die is bold and obvious, even subtle doubling under magnification can be enough to increase the value dramatically, especially when authenticated by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC and when preserved in mint state (MS) condition, because collectors value doubled dies not just for rarity but for their connection to the minting process and the visual uniqueness they bring to otherwise standard coins. And while major doubled dies from earlier years like 1955 and 1969 are widely known, the discovery and documentation of more recent doubled dies, including those on 2012 cents, is a constantly evolving area of numismatics, with new varieties regularly being found and added to era catalogs and guides, making it an exciting field for modern-day treasure hunters. And another key area of value in 2012 cents comes from die breaks, die chips, and cuds, which are all forms of die failure where a portion of the die has worn out, cracked, or broken off entirely, causing raised blobs or lines on the coin's surface. And these can appear almost anywhere on the coin but are especially interesting when they occur on recognizable features like Lincoln's face, beard, eyes, or jacket on the obverse, or on the shield, letters, or scroll on the reverse, and a die chip in the shape of a tear or dot in Lincoln's eye or cheek is sometimes affectionately referred to as a crying Lincoln, and can sell for premiums on the open market, especially when the die chip is large, well-formed, and in an aesthetically appealing location, and cuds, which are larger raised blobs that interrupt the coin's rim and adjacent design elements, are even rarer and more sought after, with examples from 2012 that show large cuds on the top right of the obverse or across the shield's rim, bringing in serious attention and price tags from collectors who specialize in this type of error. And then there are struck-through errors, which happen when a piece of debris, grease, or even string or wire gets in between the planchet and die at the moment of striking, creating blank or distorted areas where part of the design should be. And 2012 cents was struck through errors are fairly dramatic visually and can include missing letters, smeared portions of the design, or strange texture and color differences, making them popular for both new and veteran collectors. And the key to value in a struck-through coin lies in its severity, uniqueness, and clarity, and the more obvious the strike-through, the more valuable the coin becomes. And double strikes are another exciting category, where the coin is struck more than once due to mechanical issues during the minting process. And when a 2012 cent is double struck with visible separation between impressions, sometimes with rotation between strikes, it can become an instant hit among collectors and sell for far above face value, especially in uncirculated condition. And speaking of condition, the grade of a coin is always a key factor in determining its value, and for 2012 cents, that means coins in MS65 and above, especially those with full red coloration designated as RD by grading companies, will always command higher prices, and the combination of a known error and a high grade is where you start to see coins exceed $84 in sales, especially when bidding wars break out among collectors looking to complete sets or acquire specific varieties. And even without dramatic mint errors, 2012 cents in ultra-high grade MS67 or MS68 RD condition can reach into the $50 to $100 range purely based on rarity and eye appeal. Because although billions of coins were struck, only a tiny fraction survive in perfect or near-perfect condition, and even fewer are certified by grading agencies, making the top population examples in any year especially valuable. And we cannot forget planchet errors, which occur before the coin is even struck and include things like improper alloy mixes, underweight or overweight planchets, or use of the wrong planchet altogether, and while very rare, 2012 cents struck on dime or foreign coin planchets are known to exist and can command several $100s when authenticated, due to the drastic difference in appearance, weight, and composition. And all these possibilities make modern penny collecting especially fun and potentially profitable, because it invites you to explore coins that are still readily available in circulation and might be hiding right under your nose. And communities of collectors, YouTubers, bloggers, and roll hunters are constantly sharing discoveries of strange 2012 cent errors from rolls or pocket change, often showing how a casual glance with a magnifying glass or digital microscope led to the discovery of a coin worth $50, $84, or even more. And social media platforms, online auctions like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections, and forums like CoinTalk and Reddit's r/coins are full of examples where 2012 pennies with strange shapes, unusual lines, or misaligned elements were confirmed as mint errors and sold for a premium. So the excitement around these coins continues to grow as collectors turn their attention to modern era issues that are still affordable and accessible, but packed with potential. And even something as small as a minor alignment shift during striking, which causes one side of the coin to appear slightly off-center, or a collar clash where the collar die leaves extra ridges or marks near the rim, can be enough to raise collector interest and elevate a coin's value, especially if it's in pristine condition or paired with other errors. And as more and more collectors realize the untapped potential of modern Lincoln Shield cents, the demand for well-documented, clearly visible, and authenticated errors continues to increase, creating a competitive market for coins that were once ignored or discarded. And the 2012 cent, despite being modern and abundant, has firmly established itself as one of the go-to years for error hunters and die variety collectors. Thanks to the growing catalog of known issues and the rich possibilities that exist in such a large mintage, and if you've made it this far, you now know that even a 2012 penny, the kind of coin people often drop or overlook, can carry the kind of secrets that make it worth $84 or more. And you've learned how to identify the key features that make these coins valuable, including doubled dies, die chips, die cracks, cuds, struck-through errors, double strikes, planchet errors, RPMs, alignment anomalies, grade conditions, and high eye appeal, and how each of these factors can increase desirability and demand among collectors, turning an everyday object into a miniature work of rare and valuable art. And now it's your turn to examine your coins, look more closely, And maybe even submit an interesting find to a grading service if you think you've found something special, because the thrill of discovery and the chance to own or sell a rare mint era coin is one of the most rewarding aspects of the hobby. And the 2012 Lincoln cent